You ready?
Yeah, but we need to know.
Take a tour.
I joined a mob, I beat a girl up, and I learned how to rest.
Oh my gosh. I don't think I can do it in 3 sentences. So much happened this week.
Brayden?
Okay, so I have a question. If like Zane says something really funny and we're all laughing, we say that's great, does that count against us? So like just
The
now.
waving the hand thing works for me.
Okay, so landing a plane.
Yeah, landing a plane.
I said that was my paper name too, and then Mrs. Gray was like, hey, that would be a good class quote because we're all psychos. I mean, she didn't say that, but I was thinking that.
No, like on the board. Touch the board and move to the left. Yep.
Okay.
Now go up.
Okay.
Feel the board.
Oh, my eye is itchy. My eye is itchy. I feel
Don't
like I'm
look.
gonna faint.
Go
Somebody,
up.
water! Water!
Mrs. Butler. I call Baby Mrs. Butler.
I make news plans every single day. We never We're gonna stay on schedule. We're gonna follow. We're gonna stick with the schedule. Oh, guys, we are off on our schedule, guys. Okay, we are off on our time. Like, we're skipping stuff. We're just gonna skip biology today because we're not on my
Staring contest. Okay.
Fact one.
Neither of you like doing
He knows way too much. Fact 2, he knows way too much. Fact 3, everyone else knows he knows way too much.
Okay, guys.
So true. All right.
Besides the swimmers.
I can't say it now.
I think so, yeah.
Would you score
So are you ready to move on?
Eventually, he met a special friend named Nadiza von Meck, a wealthy older lady, who fell in love with his music. Unfortunately, Tchaikovsky was not always on the straight and narrow, mostly because he wasn't straight.
You just ate cheese.
I didn't eat cheese.
He's lactose intolerant. Oh.
Michael.
He gave me the marshmallows.
Okay. Faith.
Okay. You come to the point in your life where you have to be serious. We learned
That was...
Theoretically speaking, both of them can't exist in the same.
That was great.
I felt it.
No.
I felt it going there, and I was like, eh.
Us. It's just us that decide what justice is. I'm gonna keep talking about this topic so that I can win this.
I'm not serious.
Oh, there you go. Go. Talk about not serious.
I'm not serious about doing this.
Right now.
Action.
Protocol wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. What else was I supposed to say?
The thing you said.
I think I said.
The thing
You
you
said it was
said.
actually fun. You said you had fun.
It was actually pretty fun.
Woo!
I could tell you had a lot of fun getting up from that table.
It wasn't fun wearing a dress. It wasn't fun wearing a dress. It was fun
But
eating
that
food.
jewelry was really pretty.
It was fun making Laren and Mr.
almost
Abels get
died.
up over and over again.
You did?
That was great.
High protocol.
Okay. But instead of a frog, instead of an ugly frog, a handsome young prince stood gazing down at her with a warm.
The story is not appropriate.
Sleeping
in her bed.
Sleeping in her bed alone with a man.
Hold on, wait.
Dun, 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 dun.
Inside the mouth, yeah, and look at the.
I am a prince.
I said he's a very quiet fella, and he says he doesn't like to open up much.
Which is my second language.
Wait, what?
Ding!
Yeah.
Oh.
We've stopped with the dinging, though. Does that mean I've gotten nicer, or does that just mean we stopped?
No, I think we just stopped.
Ding!
Apologize.
I'm sorry you stopped. Oh, yeah, did you do that?
Yeah, I got that one.
Made a Moments video right there. I just insulted him.
Fame 2017, hashtag ship it like FedEx. Alright, let's do this.
Hashtag our ship has sailed. Our ship is in Fiji. It's happening.
What?
What? Wait, what does any of this have to do with Fiji?
What about
I hate Fiji.
Yeah.
That's water.
Exactly.
How about
Okay, like you can't put your dog on a board face down and then mark it, but you can't put him face down in the sand and then do it. For things like that.
Animal abuse.
It's animal abuse.
Brayden.
Excuse me, dog hater.
Zane.
Excuse me, science. She asked me the other day, she was like, Zay, did you bring your recorder? I'm like,
All right, guys, tour of the fort.
Michael, what is this?
So it's easier to go at.
It's a wall.
All right, guys, scoot over. This is too crowded.
Way
Scoot
too
over.
personal.
Way too personal, guys.
That is sick.
And then I put
Even
my
though I
favorite
hate
So's Kieran.
Michael
I
is the wall.
am the wall.
So we're just
Not
gonna get a little inside look of what goes on
Not now.
in here. So obviously we built ourselves a fort because where else can you do work? We have Michael.
Thank you.
I am the
He's
wall.
enforcing our wall. See the wall, think the wall, be the wall. That's our motto. Be the
Right
wall.
there.
And look good while doing it.
Do you just carry a comb in your pocket so you can brush your to like do that for effect anytime?
Yeah, Zane's gonna have to go through so much crap.
I know.
That's tarantula. I have nightmares about these, or like freaking out. This is actually kind of spiders often.
Jaden, say something cool about yourself.
Bro, what am I supposed to say?
There's nothing cool about him. Oh my gosh.
That's why you wear leggings, son.
You are wearing it. It's still difficult. It's still a little bit.
We have amazing. That is so.
So like put it in there. But
Okay,
That's
gosh.
what she said.
No, wait a minute. That's
Wait, what did you just say?
No, she said, put it in there, but like this. And I was just like, that. She said,
And I've got a dagger tucked in my armpit.
Okay, just.
no.
where is he?
Where are you going?
What are you doing?
I'm trying to.
He's
We've had the joy, the greatness of cheesecake for 15 or 16 years, depending on how old you are. So today I have 3 reasons to support why cheesecake is good, is truth, and is beauty. It had lemon custard on it, for crying out loud. If that doesn't make you want to go slap your mother in the face, I don't know what does. A lemon sensation exploding in your mouth. How is that not truth, people?
It was remarkably well done, actually. Right, that's what I was going to say. Number 1, you're here, you're alive.
Zane, did you find a lizard?
No, I buried my pear.
Can everybody hear?
Hello. Your thing isn't even open.
What?
Yeah, pizza's calling.
Wouldn't it be great if pizza were a verb?
Pizza-ing.
I pizza, you pizza, he, she get pizzas.
Pizza isn't a verb.
She hasn't been Americanized yet. It's an American.
You don't like pizza?
Food, like an acquisition.
That's totally fine.
It's okay. I still like you.
To each their own.
Oh, we're going.
They were so in love with the art that they made out with the wooden art. They wore away their faces. They got splinters in their lips from all of this.
Went in there and like they sat me down for like 30 minutes and just left me in there. It's kind of creepy. And then they came by and they were like, okay, we're gonna start like, they set me up in the beginning and they like had and blood pressure on me. And so I figured out if you hold your breath, the thing starts freaking out because you're beating a lot. And if you sneeze, it also freaks out.
Sorry, keep going. What just happened? Are we still on this topic?
Amy, it's you. You're supposed to
What
read.
is your worst fear? Just tell it to the camera. Just go
He's not recording.
read it over.
Don't worry. Oh, he is actually.
No. Just say it, Amy. Bad thoughts. Are we not close enough?
My worst fear is
I already said
I'll
it. I'll tell you my.
It's not like it's
not
going
on
on
camera.
YouTube or anything.
what's gonna happen tomorrow.
I'm sorry, I'm like crying.
It's okay, we know how much your fear helps you.
I'll come home pregnant. You'll come home pregnant. Where's the father? With the Antichrist. No, I swear it's a. In some sense, then, it causes an incredible amount of harm. If it's something incredibly bad, I suppose so. Well, if something causes more harm than anything else, isn't it the worst thing in the world? Yes. Doesn't it follow that psychological iniquity, injustice, self-indulgence, and so on
is the worst thing in the world. It does seem so.
Okay, so these past couple weeks, I've been studying sequences and series. And so before I talk about series, which is the actual cool part, I'm going to talk about sequences because series are based on sequences. So there are two kinds of sequences. Wait, I'm going to tell you what a sequence is first. A sequence is a function whose domain is the set of natural numbers, whose range is the set of term values. It's played together. Hopefully they sound good. I believe, I don't know if harmony means they have to sound good together. It at least just means two notes played together.
Okay, Brayden and then Anna.
Well, I'm trying to think of like how to word that. It's like basically when two things connect with one another and make something beautiful. So I think you can't have harmony in life because that kind of describes marriage and love because it's two different things coming together and making one piece of music.
Well, I think at whatever age you are, like you were saying, well, he's 18, he's an adult, his parents shouldn't tell him what to do. But I hope that whatever age I am, if I'm doing something stupid, my parents will tell me. If I'm 30 and I'm like, I don't know, want to become a serial killer.
What I was saying is that it wasn't definite. They were assuming that bad things would happen to him. They were assuming that. It wasn't necessarily true. And then his father went and cursed him or whatever.
Like basically, like he didn't want him to do some, like he, obviously his son wanted to go to sea. He didn't want him to get stranded on an island for 28 years. He didn't want that for his son. And
He didn't know that was even probable.
Yeah.
The way I think of it, a parent taking care of their child starts somewhat similarly. When you're first born, you cannot walk, you cannot feed yourself, you can do nothing. So, when it starts out, they have to do everything, and you have to fully rely on them. You're both starting. You have to fully rely, they have to fully provide, right? In order for you to survive, in order for you to live, in order for you to take care of. Fast forward a couple years. You can probably stumble around a bit, but you're dumb as rocks, and everything is a chew toy, and you want to stick a fork into the light. They still have to provide you with a lot of Overwatch, but at least you can move around. You had that little bit more, so they have to do a little bit less. They still have to do a lot, but it's less. Let's fast forward a couple more years. Can I continue this thought?
Just wrap it up super quick.
All right. So you can walk, you can speak a bit, you have a little bit of safety ingrained in your mind. Your parent could let you play around in the front yard by yourself while they're just watching you. There's a bit more faith. They have to do less. You keep moving forward, and basically what I'm trying to say is, as you grow, the parent needs to do less and less and less. Because you grow, you learn, you get better. So, it's not that the parent has to do less, but that they can do less.
Can you indeed have too much fun with guts? Let's see what the ancient Romans thought. First of all, we'll look at gladiators, a common pastime of the Roman citizens. The tympanic membrane is right there. Pretty sure.
1 Corinthians 6:19 says, "Or do you not know that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit within you, whom you have from God? It is not your own."
Oh, that guy was wearing a red shirt 70 weeks ago. But so I think a good detective is someone who is good at detecting things, in short.
I agree with saying that. I'd like to add, he observes, but he also sees things. What? Did you say
Gender
something?
neutral. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. The person sees things that no one else can see. That's what makes it such a good detective.
Why do people crave mysteries? Because when Christ makes us, he instills in us curiosity, and mystery establishes curiosity.
I think that people crave adventure. And mysteries are exciting and unknown and just kind of like this void. And then they crave that feeling of when it's like you're trying to figure it out and you can't figure it out, and then you figure it out and you feel like you've accomplished something, and kind of like the whole process of solving a mystery has kind of become this big exciting thing. And that's probably what the reason why anything having to do with crime is so popular, like crime TV shows, mystery TV shows, you know, like those are so big.
My thoughts are that being a detective does not make you, like, therefore, if you're a detective, then therefore you are morally good, or even that you use your position as a detective to do morally good things. Because just because you figure out the truth or because you find those details doesn't mean you, one, share them, or two, do the right thing with that information. Why?
Because, I mean, some things are out of reaction. Like, what if there was a car coming towards you and there was a person right next to you? Would you just, like, run, or would you actually, like, pull the person with you if, like, a person was to hit the car? Like, out of reaction, you would just grab the other person with you. Like, and then they're like, oh, you're such a great hero or whatever. And then you're like, you realize what you did, and you're like, oh, yeah, yes, I was. And then instead of, like, it wasn't morally, like, what they wanted to do.
Reflect on the heroes or leaders in our literature, or people who have shaped Western cultural history. What might you imagine their first leadership experience looking like? Why? Talk about the beliefs behind the decisions based on your readings. We have faced a multitude of books, a large amount of literature, and we've seen a lot of history. All of this does have to do with topicality, so I'm not straying, thank you very much. I would like to talk about Beowulf, a man who led many men across the ocean.
Greetings, young children. Today we're going to be talking about spiders, which are in the class Arachnida. Now, oftentimes when we think of spiders, we think of vile, horrible, disgusting, terrible demons from hell, as Michael put it, which was pretty great. Yeah, and that is true, completely. But also, surprisingly, spiders have a purpose in life. So actually, what spiders do is they eat other insects. And studies show that if we were to remove all spiders from the earth for just one day, all of us would be overrun and eaten alive by other insects.
The fish is a creature in phylum Chordata. All creatures in phylum Chordata are characterized by having a backbone. For some of them, such as the ones in phylum Urochordata or Cephalochordata, have an organ known as a notochord, which is like a backbone or like a spine, but more flexible and less strong. However, our specimen comes from subphylum Vertebrata, which means that it has a column of vertebrae, also known as a spine.
Frederick was a branch of flattery. So young and yet so forgetful, Paulus. It makes me wonder what you'll be like before long.
So you think people have a low opinion of good rhetoricians? Do you?
And action.
All right, so do I have to start completely over?
Yes.
Yes, you
So
do.
magic is defined. Magic is defined as like something we can't explain, supernatural forces, like cool stuff that can't be explained by science or whatever. And so when you think about it, we are basically created by the human definition of what you would call magic, right? So like there was nothing, and then God, aka the ultimate magician, was just like, boom, snap my fingers, y'all all exist. And then he created us, and he created like all this other crap that like works together totally perfectly in synchronization. And to me, like, if that's not magic, what is magic?
Oh. See, to me, like, I kind of, because when Brother Cadfael, I love saying that, I envisioned him as like, I don't, I have this, I am a monk, but I'm not going to act like one. Like, I don't have the responsibilities. I actually found him more extroverted than I did introverted.
The first question I would like to ask y'all today, are the songs y'all listen to well written? Are the lyrics meaningful to you, or are they just stupid songs that are catchy? My second question is, what are these songs actually saying? Do you actually know the message behind these songs? Because sometimes when you look it up, it's a lot more dark and serious than you actually thought